You sit there and you got Wolfgang Van Halen. This is Eddie Van Halen's son, who is an incredible artist, walks out on the stage and goes, holy cow, how cool is this place? And so you have a night that you wouldn't necessarily think of as a great music night. There was a great music night.
Hey everyone, it's Nova, the host of See You at the Show, and on this week's episode, I'm really excited about the guest because I'm sitting down with CEO, Chairman, Founder of Venu Corporation, Mr. JW Roth. And as always, you know who's coming with me? You're coming with me. So, I'll see you at the show. Come on. Well, welcome back everyone to another episode of See You at the Show. I'm your host, Nova. And I'm very excited about this episode, okay, because I feel like I need to call you like Mr. Music Industry yourself, do you know?
Yeah, well, it's good to be here.
No, it is. Mr. JW Roth, how are you, sir?
That's good. I'm great. We're cooking along. And see at the show, that's sort of what we started saying from the very beginning about how we sort of end a lot of the conversations that we have. We end up by saying, see you at the show.
Absolutely. And I just want to say thank you as well for starting this wonderful project, okay, that I'm a part of. I'm part of the family, okay, and we're going to be touching on how it all started for you as well, but there's something, I want to use this word, elevate, okay. I feel like not just in the Springs, but nationally, there's something about Venu Corporation that is elevating. It's exciting. I'm excited.
It is. You know, I mean, when we started this project to bring elevated everything to the music scene. Elevated seating, which is premium. The fire pits, for example, elevated seating. It's like being in your backyard watching the Eagles, right? It doesn't happen all the time. Elevated food and beverage, like it's coming out of the bar in your house. It is over the top. Everything that we do at Venu is state of the art, it's world class, and it's over the top.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
It really is. Yeah. I've been part of the music industry for 15, 17 years. I still am part of the music industry even now.
Sure.
Okay. And for me, as a consumer, as a customer, as well as a fan, I'm excited.
Yeah, it's exciting. Here, listen. This is what we did. At the end of the day, we didn't start with a budget and said we never sat down and said, okay, this is what our budget is, and we're going to go build a venue to that budget. That's the opposite of what we did. We sat down and we said, what is the absolute over-the-top, state-of-the-art, coolest venue on planet Earth? What's it going to cost? And then we'll figure it out. So we did it the opposite of most businesses. Most businesses start with a budget. We did the opposite. We started with the experience, the ambiance, and I didn't give a what it cost. I'll figure that piece out later, because here's why. If you build something like what we're building, the fans will come. And when the fans come, then you can worry about the financing of it. And we can worry about the revenue of it. But if you can't deliver ambiance and you can't deliver experience, then you might as well just forget it, right? So if we're going to go out there, we're going to compete in this space, I'm not going to start with a budget. I'm going to start with ambiance and experience. We'll worry about the budget later.
Right. I'm going to let's keep that road there. Okay. Yeah. Let's go off the road. Let's rewind.
Yeah.
How did it all start for you? Okay, because I've read somewhere, you and I have got a little bit of connection. Douglas County jumps out, the Renaissance Festival, right, which I've visited many a time.
Yeah.
Oh,
so when I was in high school,
it's interesting.
So when I was in high school, I started high school in 1978. And when I was in high school, there was only one high school in Douglas County. I don't know how many there are today. There's like 18 or 19 of them. There's tons of them. It's one of the fastest growing counties in the United States. But when I grew up there wasn't a stoplight. Not one stoplight in the entire county. There was one high school. It was small, and they had a bulletin board in the lobby. And when the kids came in, if you wanted to, you could check your rifle in the principal's office because I hunted coyotes on my way home from school. A lot of kids did. And so think about that. Think about kids bringing their rifles in so that they didn't get stolen out of their trucks. And put them. Wow. So that's the kind of high school I went to begin with. But there was a bulletin board in my high school, and you could post jobs. Businesses around town could post jobs. And one of the jobs that they posted was helping run chainsaws to take the trees out of what was going to be this festival grounds. Ultimately became the Renaissance Festival. So I signed up And that was my very, very first job. I was working at a pig farm at the time that was out by the ranch where I grew up. And so I signed up and I went to work clearing trees at the Renaissance Festival off of a help wanted ad that they had pinned up in the school.
Have you always had that entrepreneurism? That's a really hard word to say, but have you always had that drive, that ambition, the hard work? Where did that start for you?
Well,
Is it family? Is it back on that notice board thinking, right, I'm going to have a go at this?
Yeah,
I
didn't grow up in a wealthy family, and I didn't grow up in an entrepreneurial family. I grew up in a hardworking family. Mm-hmm. My dad worked on our ranch, and then he also, worked in an insurance job that he had, and as a claims adjuster. But at the end of the day, me becoming an entrepreneur sort of grew out of a survival mentality, right? I knew I had to go out and ultimately be on my own. Mm-hmm. And so I started businesses, not necessarily because I didn't even know how to spell entrepreneur. In fact, I don't even know if I ever heard the word. I just knew that running a business was about my only way to make money, other than if I wanted to go down and work at McDonald's or Burger King. So I started because of sort of me wanting to be more than just somebody that worked at a fast food restaurant as a kid in high school.
So it's really kind of something stepping out of the box, something different. Not the norm, really.
Not the norm.
Probably back then.
Yeah.
So let's jump a little bit, because Mr. Peter Mondavi, okay, delicious wine.
Yeah.
As we know.
Yeah.
I've got a nice bottle at home. Right.
Yeah.
Is it true that the idea came from him, you and I working together? Was it a...
Yeah, Peter Mondavi has a winery in Napa, and it's the very last winery on the wine train that goes from Napa up, and it's kind of a dinner train and then comes back down. Years ago, I'm going to guess it's probably now close to 15 years ago, my wife bought, I'm a music nut, right? So my wife bought us tickets on the wine train where you go along and you visit wineries all day. And then at the end of the day, it stops at Peter Mondavi's place, Krug Winery. And he's got a little amphitheater in his front yard. Now, it's not a big amphitheater. There's a little amphitheater, maybe 500 people there. And so we went on that. My wife bought it. And we went up there. And at the end of the day, we stopped at Mondavi's at the Krug Winery. And it was a great show. It was some of the front guys from Kansas, Leonard Skinner, Journey, Peter. No, it wasn't. It was Jim Peterick, who from Survivor wrote Eye of the Tiger for Stallone. He wrote Hold On Loosely for 38 Specials. Just a great guy. He's a huge guitar collection. He's just a great guy. Anyway, they had sort of the front men do a concert in the front yard. And I'm sitting there with my wife, and I said, you know what? When I go home, I'm going to build something like this in Colorado Springs. So I got home, and I started making some phone calls. Nobody said, well, you can't build that where I wanted to build it, which was right next to a restaurant that I owned in Colorado Springs. And so I thought, okay, I can't do that because there's a hotel going to go across the street, and it's not zoned correctly, and I'll buy a bunch of other crap. So at the end of the day, I ended up building what is now the Phil Long Music Hall, and I built it indoor, and that's kind of how the idea started. Then ultimately, I kept continuing to work on the idea of an outdoor venue, simply because I'd been to venues all over the world, and they stink, right? If you look at what like the NFL has done in building stadiums that are fan-centric, Major League Baseball and the new Yankee Stadium, for example, these are fan-centric stadiums. There's not a fan-centric music venue any place other than the newest one that was built in Las Vegas called the Sphere, right? But it was indoor, and it's not music-centric in the sense that it's an amphitheater. So really what I built here and what our team here at Venu has built is an over-the-top sort of following the logic of what the NFL and Major League Baseball did in building fan-centric venues that are experience and ambiance first, budget second.
And I had the pleasure of experiencing that last week at the opening. Yeah. Obviously, opening show, 2025.
Yeah.
And it is special.
It is
special. Really is. Even when you walk in as well, you have this really ambience feel as well. And anywhere you sit or stand for the show.
Sightlines are perfect.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
And I'm quite jealous, actually, even from a musician's perspective, because I bet it's a great view as well.
Yeah.
But the sound was outstanding.
Yeah. What's funny is, so the very first show we ever did there was Ryan Tedder. And he walked out on stage, One Republic, and he looked at the venue from the artist's viewpoint, and he goes, holy cow, I feel like I'm in Abu Dhabi, because the whole place is on fire, right? The fire pits, and just the ambiance that not only the fan feels, but that the artist feels.
Did you know, obviously, going into this from the very beginning, you mentioned, obviously, other venues around the country making your stand out, the Sphere. You've been at the Sphere. I've been at the Sphere.
Yeah.
It blows your mind, doesn't it?
Yeah, blows your mind.
Did you know going into this about the amphitheatre exactly what you want to feature, what you want to show? Is seating? Do you want standing? Do you want this? Do you want fire pits? Do you know? Do you have that vision?
Well,
you have that vision.
I started with the vision of I want to create my backyard in a big venue, right?
Yeah.
I want the ambiance and the experience to be that you came to an intimate place, even though there's 10,000 people there. I want you to feel the intimacy with the artist, with the other people that are there. With the service staff that's going on. So at the end, I did, but I didn't. So as we've built these, you find things that you want to change or that you want to improve. A little bit of building Venu has been building the plane while we're going to 30,000 feet, right? So today we're at about 17 or 18,000 feet on our way to cruising altitude of 30. And we're changing things as we go. For example, when I started here in Car Springs, I didn't have the idea of a multi-configuration. So I built this thing for its full configuration. But now we're building amphitheaters that have multi-configurations so that you can have a show with 5,000 people and it feels packed. And that's in the same venue that you can hold 20,000 people. We're also building multi-seasonal so that you can enjoy an outdoor concert. The ambiance of an outdoor concert in the dead of winter. Well, it's taken, lots and lots of money. So remember, we didn't start with a budget. We started with the ambiance, with the experience. So when you create multi-seasonal, you're creating something that costs a lot more money. But at the end of the day, the budget will come into line. You know why? Because people are going to love coming there. And so we have made changes, and they're all for the better.
Where do you get this energy from? This passion? I mean, I can feel it coming off you now.
Yeah. I love business.
And you've got a smile on your face as well, which says so much.
Yeah, I love business.
And that's the thing. Yeah. And it's a beautiful business to be in.
Yeah. I love building things. You know, I came from the food business, right?
Yeah.
So people always say, well, how sexy can chicken be? Well, it's sexy when you're creating brands and products that people love. You know, my son, I'll give you a perfect example. He's creating today what is Whole30, and he's rolling it out across the United States. And I'm so proud of watching him do this. You know, Whole30 is the #1 health and wellness brand in the world today. And it came from almost nothing. And it's exploding. You know why? Because he's passionate about it. And the product is chicken. It's chicken. So you can have different kinds of chicken, right? You can have boring chicken and you can have great chicken. You can go to see the Eagles at some armpit of a amphitheater, or you can see the Eagles at a Venu amphitheater. It's both. It's the Eagles. It's the Eagles.
Absolutely.
The only difference is the ambiance is different. The experience is different. The excitement level is different. Music is memories, right? So when you're creating, when you go to a concert, it's not like anything else that exists. You remember it. You establish the memories there. Music is about memories. You can listen to a song, driving down the road in your car, and you will remember where you were, who you were with, what you were doing, where you were going, because it creates, you can go back in time listening to a song, right? I can listen to The First Time by Foreigner, and I can say to myself, I remember where I was. I remember where I was driving. I remember the 8-track that it was on that had gone into my 8-track machine, which I paid a lot of money for, in my 71 Cougar. Yeah.
It's amazing. And it's so powerful. Music is very powerful. I've got a tattoo on my wrist. It says, music is life.
It is.
And I've got it there forever because it changed my life. I wouldn't be sat here if it weren't for music.
Yeah, it is.
And now, look, I'm working in music.
Yeah.
Again,
you can find people that hate football.
Yeah.
You can find people that don't like soccer or baseball or whatever. You can find people like that. But if you find somebody that just said, I hate music, I'd like to meet that guy.
Should we get him in here?
Yeah,
we'll get him in here.
Yeah. I don't think he exists.
But on the opening night as well, JW, what I noticed as well, everyone's there for the same reason. Okay, so I was going round doing Man on the Street. Hello, how are you doing? Are you excited for that? And they're all there because they're fans of Jason Isabel. Okay, but they're there for music, yeah? If you go to a sport game, you've got two teams, haven't you?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But everyone's there for the same reason. And it just changes that room, is it? The vibe,
totally.
the excitement.
Totally. You can put a Democrat, a Republican, and an independent all on the front row of the Eagles. They might not agree on anything outside of that venue. They might hate each other outside of that venue and disagree about everything. But they'll sit there together and they'll sing every single word to Hotel California in sync and enjoy their night. You know why? Because there's a vibe and there's a unity that happens around music that doesn't happen around anything else.
I need to ask, I keep saying this all the time since being part of this beautiful family, fan-founded, fan-owned, okay? Yeah. Let's describe to people who are probably watching for the first time today, just a little bit of an insight of what that actually means. Yeah. And how fans can get involved.
Yeah.
I'm a fan, I'm involved.
Yeah. When I built this, obviously it was going to be fan-founded, right? I mean, I'm a fan from the bottom of my feet to the top of my head. Everything that I do is from the viewpoint of the fan with the artist in mind. That's how I build things. But when I built this so that all fans could be owners. I wanted it to be fan-founded, but I wanted it to be fan-owned. And so I created a public company. I took our company public on the New York Stock Exchange. And what that means is that anybody, whether you have $10 or $10 million, you can be an owner with me. You can take the same journey that I'm taking, regardless of how many shares you own, and we'll do it together. And I did that because same reason the Green Bay Packers made the Green Bay Packers a company where the fans own it. You know why? Because now you can own your passion. And in this particular case, you can own Venu just like I do. You'll be an owner just exactly like I am, and we'll take this journey together. You can own your passion.
And it's a business.
It absolutely is.
That's what it is.
Making money, doing what you love.
Absolutely. And anyone who obviously has not experienced any of the venues, even just here in town.
Yeah.
What would you say to them?
I would say, listen, to understand us is to experience us, right? I talk to investors all over the world all the time, and I always say the same thing. The best way to understand what we do is to experience us. Last night, for example, we had Mammoth. I mean, it was an incredible show in the pouring sleet outside with 90 fire pits all going. Was the coolest fog hanging down inside the venue. And they opened for Seether, right? And so you sit there and you got Wolfgang Van Halen. This is Eddie Van Halen's son, who is an incredible artist, walks out on the stage and goes, holy cow, how cool is this place? And so you have a night that you wouldn't necessarily think of as a great music night. There was a great music night.
Absolutely. And don't you think it's not just the fans who need to spread the word? Okay, yeah. If it's social media, if it's word of mouth, but also bands are now spreading the word. Going,
totally.
Have you checked this place out in Colorado Springs?
Totally.
This is cool.
Totally. Super cool. And here's another thing. When you own Venu, when you become a shareholder with me in Venu, you own it all. You own pieces of every single venue. You own the umbrella company. You own the artist relationships. It is like nothing else that you can invest in. I can't find another place in music that you can invest and take the journey like you will take with owning Venu.
It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah. And you'll make money doing it.
Which is... best thing ever, isn't it?
How do you beat that?
How do you beat that?
Yeah, how do you beat that?
Just before we move on, I've got some quick fire questions for you, but I'm just going to I want to know, like, you've got this incredible, like I mentioned, incredible vision, incredible energy, ambition as well. What is next? What's happening? Do you see things like every 6 months, every 12 months? How does it work for you?
Yeah, so we're gonna sign down and lock down 8 new markets a year. We signed our deal with Ryan and Company. Ryan is one of the largest tax sort of public-private partnership firm in the world, based out of Dallas, Texas. Maher Mossow represents us. He's the one that actually did the Dallas Cowboys deal. And he's a very, very savvy public-private partnership guy. And so we signed our deal with them. We're going to lock down 8 markets. I don't know if we'll actually build 8 a year, but we'll build 4. We'll lock down 8. And over this journey that we're taking over the next 36 to 48 months. We'll build 20 of these things, enough to route our own show if we wanted to. So that's sort of where we're headed in the next just short term here. We've got 5 of these things under construction right now. Total sort of enterprise value that we're building is just a little over $1.2 billion in development right now, and we'll double that here in the next year or so. So we're aggressively growing. And when I tell people we will be one of the fastest growing music companies on planet Earth by the time this year gets out, I mean it, and that's where we're going. It's another reason, if you want to step on the train, right now's the time to step on the train, buy a few shares.
Get on the train.
Yeah, get on the
that
train.
You got groundbreaking at McKinney as well, which is
groundbreaking's coming up at McKinney mid-June. Huge. I'd like to tell you who's going to be the opener down there. I know, but I can't tell you.
Why don't you guess at home? You guess.
Yeah, you guess.
You guess.
And I guarantee your guess will be low because this is a standout for Texas, and it'll be a lot of fun. So in McKinney, we sell fire pit suites. Fire pit suites, think of them as condominiums in a condominium building. Fire pit suite is the condominium, and the condominium building is the amphitheater, right? It's one of the fastest selling products that we have at Venu. And you know why people buy them? Because they're nutcases. They're nutcases like me. They love music. They want to experience music, and they want to experience music in a style very similar to their backyard. People say all the time, describe a fire pit. Well, fire pit is just like sitting in your backyard, drinking a cocktail with your friends around your fire pit, listening to the Eagles or Boston or whoever.
Yeah. And you mentioned there's going to be many locations opening as well. Is this obviously a specific area you always look for in certain cities, or is it...
Well, we build routes, right?
Yeah.
So, we're going to come off Colorado Springs, and, this will most likely route, off of Colorado Springs to another city, most likely Kansas City, where we don't have a venue, but Live Nation is building a venue there. So most likely we'll route there, and then ultimately to our venues. Tulsa Market, Broken Arrow, Oklahoma City Market, Yukon, Dallas-Fort Worth Market, McKinney, where we're building right now. Then mostly splinter off, probably, headed to the venue that we're building in El Paso, and possibly San Antonio and Houston, where we have conversations going about new venues. And then my plan is to come up the East Coast, right? I'm going to come up from Florida, and we're going to go up through the Carolinas. We're going to split off in Georgia, take a little route up through Tennessee. We've got great conversations going on there, but we're going to build 20 of the most over-the-top venues ever built in history, starting with what we just built here in Colorado Springs. If you've never been to the Ford Amphitheater in Colorado Springs, then you're missing sort of what we're doing here. And then if you can't come, I understand that, but watch it. Pull down some of the videos, and hopefully cross your fingers that we're going to be building right through whatever city you live in.
Absolutely, and I do urge people to come on down. If you haven't got a chance to come on down, especially in summer, and the sunsets as well.
Yeah.
The mountain, the backdrop. Can you get a better backdrop than that?
You can't. You can't. You sit in a fire pit suite, and there's the United States Air Force Academy. There is America's Mountain, Pikes Peak. There's the stadium. I mean, the view of the front range of the Rockies is right in front of you. It just doesn't get any better.
Wonderful. Right, I could talk to you all day, but I know how busy you are. All right, so a couple of quick fires.
Yep.
Okay, first thing that comes in your head, okay? What is your favourite song?
Oh, man, what is my favorite song?
It's always a hard question.
Wow, my favorite artist is Bob Seger. I mean, that is my favorite all-time artist. He has it's a catalog of some of the greatest songs ever. But my favorite song, let me come back to that one. Let me think about it and come back to it.
All right, okay. I thought you big...
I would probably say Hold On Loosely, which is a 38 Special song. That would rank up there. Simply because my wife said that very similar thing 30 years ago. That would rank up there. That would rank up there.
Big Eagles fan as well.
I'm a huge Eagles fan. I probably get in trouble saying this because of the sort of the lyrics have fallen out of favor, but life in the fast lane's how I've lived my life, a lot of it. And so I love that of the Eagles. I like Take It Easy, Hotel California. I mean, you run down through the Eagles catalog, it's incredible. But I'd have a hard time coming up with just exactly my favorite song. I love so many of them.
Okay. What album do you wish, if you could have written?
Beggar's Banquet, right? Rolling Stones.
That's it.
I mean,
that might drop the mic moment.
That'd be the best album, I think, of all time, in my opinion. Yeah.
Apart from your own, what's a dream venue?
Oh, man. Well, I loved the Sphere. I was out there to see the Eagles, in fact. And it was outstanding. I loved it. There are parts of it that I would change if it was me. But, I mean, he just did an awesome job of it. I love it. I love the experience of it. I love the way you're immersed in everything that's happening there. What I'm building in McKinney, it'll be the greatest venue ever built in the world. I mean, on planet Earth, there's never a venue that'll ever be built like the one we're building in McKinney, Texas. For a lot of reasons. It's multi-seasonal, it's multi-configuration, sits in the heart of one of the greatest music markets in the United States. It's just super cool. It'll tour this next year.
Amazing. What song reminds you of that good memory?
Man, so many of them. When I was in high school, one of the big bands and one of the first ones I ever saw was REO Speedwagon, right? And so you go kind of run down through REO's catalog. Those probably create the most memories for me. I had a 1972 white Chevy Blazer. And again, this is after I crashed my 1971 Cougar. I had this Blazer and an 8-track in there. And I had a stack of 8-tracks, and it was Journey and REO. Those are the ones that circled through for me, and I would say REO was probably the most played in my high school years.
Okay, you and I driving east on the 70, into Kansas.
Yeah.
What is going to be that road trip artist?
You mean what were we playing in the car?
Yeah, we're going to play in the car. Are you going to give me
it's going to be
JW Best 10, or are you just going to give me one album? What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be the greatest hits of the 70s, right? I mean, when you look at me, everybody says the same thing. That's a classic rock guy, which I am. And when I talk about music, I talk a lot about classic rock because that's how I grew up and that's my favorite genre of music. And so if we were going to take a road trip to, we get a big bucket of Kentucky Fried Chicken and
brilliant,
and we'd put in the greatest hits of the 70s and away we'd go.
Windows down.
Yeah, windows down.
Singing along.
Absolutely.
Making the lyrics up.
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's exactly what we do. That's really exactly what we do.
If you weren't in the music entertainment industry, what would you be doing?
I'd be building a business.
Okay.
I mean, if I was, my wife asks me all the time, what is sort of in line for you as you hit these certain marks? I hit 60. Now I'm halfway between 60 and 65, and there's not an end for me. I just want to continue. I'm not going to go play golf all day. I'm not going to go fishing all day. I am going to play golf and I am going to go fishing, but I'm not going to do that all day. I'm going to work. I like to build things. And so at the end of the day, I think probably Venu is what I'll ride this horse out. And then at some point, Venu obviously will tuck underneath a bigger umbrella. Somebody like my dream for me would be to tuck under an Amazon Music or a Spotify or somebody like that. And when that happens, I don't view myself as then stepping off the bus. I view that as expanding the bus, right? And so anyway, there's sort of where I see myself going from here.
It's just continuous, isn't it? It really is.
Yeah, it's fun.
It really is. Right, 3 people, past or present, okay, you'd like around a dinner table, okay, you can only have 3.
Man.
You got Mrs. Roth. You can have your wife's there. Your wife's there as well.
Yeah,
okay.
She's there.
But just 3 people, past or present, just to share a nice bottle of Mondavi wine.
Yeah.
Let's have a bit of chicken as well.
Yeah, I'd probably pick Jesus number 1. He'd bring his own wine, or he'd make it when we got there.
Yeah, right. He's at the top. He's over here.
He would be interesting to me. So I'm a Lutheran and I'm a Christian guy. So I would obviously like to spend a little time with him, which I'll do someday anyway. But anyway, that would be number 1. I think I would probably maybe pick Elvis Presley, just to sort of get into his head. He's really the founder of so much of the way we enjoy music today, in one way or another. So he would definitely be a player for me that way. And then I know people are going to hate it when I say this. I'm going to get hate mail and everything else. But I think Elon Musk would be a super cool guy to spend a little time with. I want to understand how he thinks. He built a fan-founded, fan-owned company when he built Tesla, right? His original shareholders all got on board the train for more than just buying a car company. They paid a lot more in terms of multiple and valuation and everything else compared to Ford Motor Company, for example. But they did it because they could see where he was going. They could understand what he was doing. And they go, so take the politics out of it. Mm-hmm. Just think of it. Think of what he did in terms of just being a little bit nuts, right? He's a little bit of a nutcase. And I love that about him. He's a big dreamer. But there's a difference between somebody that just dreams and then goes about their day. And there's and in comparison to somebody that dreams and then gets up and makes it happen. That guy dreams, then he gets up and makes it happen. So I think those would be my three.
So you got Jesus,
yeah,
Elvis. He's going to have to do a few songs, isn't it?
Yeah,
at some point.
And
Elon Musk.
Elon Musk. I mean, can you imagine the three of those guys sitting around? And we'll all having whatever wine Jesus decides to make. That'd be a pretty fun night, right?
I mean, do you need a background piano player?
Yeah, totally.
I could say be a fly on the wall, but I'm gonna have to play piano. Surely.
Totally.
You've just.
The three of those guys. Listen, all three of them too. They like to party. They all liked a great party. Jesus liked a great party. So does Elon Musk, and obviously so does Elvis. And
so do you.
That's what I do. I'll finance it. I'll finance the party.
I've just thought of a quick question before we finish on. Influences for you in life.
Yeah.
I know you mentioned three incredible people there.
Yeah.
But who would you say is like one or two people who just...
I've had so many. My life has come down to people that have spoken to my life, right? That have been big helps to me. I didn't graduate from high school, and I didn't because of a vice principal that I had. His name was John Smurjek. He's passed away now. But he really helped me see where I could go as a small businessman. Mm-hmm. And I was a lousy student. And so I woke up every day trying to figure out how I was going to take another step forward. And I never saw really the value of the education piece. I didn't grow up that way. I grew up in a family where nobody went to college. Nobody did any of those things. They just immediately went to work. So that was immediately what I was going to do. The only difference was I wasn't going to step out and take on a job. I was going to step on and try to figure out how I was going to build businesses. So John Smurjek kind of helped me through that piece of it. And he was just... super influential in my life. And I know it sounds crazy as just a high school vice principal, but he was to me. Then I had a whole bunch of sort of guys that helped me. Roger Hurst was a business partner, older guy than me. Greg Pusey was a partner of his in Aspen Bio. It's really where I made my first chunk of money that allowed me to then go do other things. And the two of them were super, what's the right word? They were encouraging of me. They were patient with me. They taught me the more sophisticated pieces of finance and how to build things. And so I would say those are the top three for me and sort of how they encouraged me along. And then, at some point you have to start building your own teams, right? And so I would say that today I have so much encouragement that comes from inside my own teams. I do not hire people that are just employees. If they're not bought in, they don't last long around me. Mm-hmm. I am somebody that is, I am driven, and businesses that are driven make huge impact in the world. I don't care if it's Apple or Amazon or Tesla. You can go back or Microsoft. There is a person behind all four of those. And all four of those are some $1 trillion companies, massive companies. And they're all sort of founded and run by an over-the-top, sort of super-driven person. But underneath that person, there are people there that are partners in the vision, partners in the business. We don't have people at Venu that don't own part of Venu. We issue equity to our employees, and then we issue that equity in a way to where it is vesting over a period of time, so that as they become part of what we're doing, they own what we are doing, and that is critical.
It's amazing. Yeah. It really is. JW, thank you so much for your time.
Thanks for having me.
Because I know how precious it is.
Thanks for having me.
But obviously, you and I have met 2 years ago.
See you at the show.
See you at the show. Absolutely, we'll say that. But what I noticed, obviously, you and I have known each other for a short period of time, probably 2 years. We met at the Phil Long Music Hall.
Yeah.
And
were we drinking cocktails?
I just came off the piano. I was doing a Valentine's night, wasn't I? Remember?
Oh, there you go.
Went, I like you. I like you. And look where I am. I'm here now.
Yeah.
Right?
And my wife loved you.
Listen,
it's the mustache and the voice and the accent and everything else. I mean, she's a big fan.
But listen, I just want to say thank you, okay, for bringing me in, even a small piece of this family, okay? Yeah. But I can feel the passion, the ambition. I mean, what is coming next is so exciting, all right? So thank you. Yeah. Okay.
Rock and roll, baby.
Thank you.
See you at the show.
See you at the show, all right? And absolutely. So thank you, everyone at home, for watching this week's episode. We're going to be back with more. We always are. We are. This is just the beginning. It really is. Massive shout out to everyone who's been watching on social media, YouTube, all over, not just in Colorado Springs, but the world, JW. People are watching around the world. Okay, so the word is spreading. And we'll see you soon. And as JW has said, we'll see you at the show.